everyone, and welcome back to the Deserts and Garden podcast. I'm Nathan, and this is my wife, Mia.
If you're new here, hi. On our podcast, we share daily highs and lows. This is not a highlight reel of our life, but the realities of managing marriage, faith, and our life together with God's guidance every step of the way.
Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about something that I think from time to time we've all struggled with.
Yeah.
That's making time for God.
Yeah.
And, we get it. Life is busy. Work, relationships, errands, scrolling on our phones for even just 5 minutes. Somehow that just turns into an hour magically.
The void of TikTok.
Right. YouTube Shorts, whatever your vice is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just making that time intentional for God.
Yeah, the truth is, no one is too busy for God.
Yeah.
You are not too busy for God. I'm not too busy for God. If we say we love Him, we have to spend time with Him. So today we're going to cover why busyness isn't an excuse at all, some practical ways to invite God into our everyday life, and how to just shift our mentality from having to fit God in to we're not fitting Him in, we're living with Him. God is omnipresent. He's always with us.
Yeah. And of course, we're going to share some practical examples from our life, because, so let's just get into it.
Yeah, so let's be real. We make time for what matters to us. If we can find time to binge watch a show or scroll on our phones for hours or make that Starbucks run, we can find time to be with God.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus made it super clear when he was talking to Martha and Luke.
Yeah.
He was, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary.
Oof.
Yeah, right. Mary was just sitting at Jesus' feet, listening to him. But Martha, she was running around the kitchen, getting everything ready, and she was sitting there just basically judging Mary for just sitting around.
No, she
nothing.
was 100%.
Yeah, and Jesus just spoke to that. And he's basically saying, the work isn't what's important. Mm-hmm. He was saying knowing him is the most important thing.
Yeah. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like when I try and get into when I try to get into the habit of going to the gym every day, I'm I don't have an hour to go to the gym, but then every morning goes by and an hour always passes, and it's emails, it's texting, checking Instagram, seeing what's going on, checking text messages. It's if we're too busy for God, then how are we not too busy for that? We're actually missing out on the one thing that'll give us peace and the one thing that'll actually set our day up right. So it's no matter how busy you are, what you have going on, we can find creative ways to invite God into the busyness instead of making that an excuse to push Him out.
Yeah, I love that. I love it when basically you just spoke to saying we're missing out.
Yeah.
I've often found myself in my past, just called doom scrolling on Facebook and, TikTok, and, just not because I'm looking for anything specific.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for, I guess, ultimately peace.
Yeah.
Whether I'm anxious and it's just I want to seem busy, or I just feel out of place.
Yeah.
That would be a perfect opportunity to sit there and read my Bible.
No, seriously. Some people will say, I just need to unwind and watch a episode or watch the news, or, I just am so stressed out, I'm going to put on my favorite show and stuff and I'm guilty of that.
Oh, absolutely. Me too.
Honestly, when I would get, stressed or upset or something, I'm all right, let me put on Little House on the Prairie, because... that's, my comfort show. I'm all right, that'll make me feel better. Or Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
It's you're running to something other than God.
Yeah, you're trying to
for that peace, and you have time for that.
Right, you're trying to fill that void.
Yeah.
And it's you're trying to put the square puzzle piece in the triangle. It's not gonna line up. It's not gonna work.
It's it's 9:00 and I'm too tired to read the Bible, but then I'll stay up until 11 o'clock watching TV. It's
does that make sense?
All right, no shade, because that's literally me. But we're gonna get into some solutions for that, because that's reality.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about those solutions. What do we actually do when life is crazy?
First off, I'm the habit queen. So habit stacking is something that, when I bumped into, I was this is gold. Pair time with God with things that you're already doing. Driving a car, listen to the Bible, street lights, worship music. You're working out, all right, down 1, pray. Down 2, pray again. Washing the dishes, talk to God. Our pastor says all the time, his kids think he's crazy, because he's always talking out loud. And it's like, who are you talking to? And it's like, I'm talking to Jesus. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you're not in that habit, like, get in the habit of scheduling it.
Yeah.
Like, if we don't plan for it, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's, just reading a chapter in bed in the morning. Maybe it's praying before bed, or, like, journaling before lunch. Like, right now you have to figure out whatever works for you.
Yeah, I mean, what we do is we have our daily goals or our daily habits and rhythms, and then we also have our weekly habits and rhythms. So every week we do a couples Bible study. Every week we record our podcast. We play the piano. And there's one other habit, which we do this every week. So why am I not remembering what the fourth one is? Verses. Oh, we remember a Bible verse. Right now we are memorizing Psalms 23. So
1 through 5.
1 through 5. We're up to 1 through 5. We started on 1 through 3. All right, the Lord is my shepherd. But anyway, so those are our weekly habits, and then every day we have individual habits. They're different levels. We have an app that tracks it. Cutesy. Things like that. But it's like, if you're not in the habit of getting in your word or spending time with God, like, that is one of our daily habits. Read the Bible every day. We do the Bible in a year. It's 15 minutes. Just do it. Schedule it. And then it becomes a part of what you do. Like, every day now when I wake up, I'm like, all right, click on my Bible app, clean up the room a little bit. Like, it just becomes a rhythm of how you operate.
Absolutely. Like, whether it's, you wouldn't leave the house without, like, brushing your teeth, putting on deodorant.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't leave the house without reading your Bible. And I understand, like, you're busy in the morning, maybe you're wrangling kids, or, you're, like I said, brushing your teeth, and you're just running out the door. Throw an AirPod in, put it on the speaker, listen to it on your phone, like...
Yeah, like, whatever however it works for you. It's just, like, inviting God into those moments.
Yeah.
Like we said, instead of pushing him out, oh, I'm too busy, I don't have time for God, bring him into those moments. He is with you, and he wants you to practice the presence of God. And I'm actually reading a book. It's called The Liturgy of the Ordinary. By reading, I mean I'm listening to it, because I don't read. But it's all about bringing God into daily mundane tasks, and instead of seeing time with God and Bible studies and things like that as a task to do, seeing it as, like, I'm making God a part of my everything. So some of the chapter titles, I'm just gonna read them, are like, when you wake up, how to, incorporate God into waking up. I think you actually sent me this week a video about how the first 5 minutes
of your wake up, like, if you wake up and the first thing you do is, like, grab your phone.
Yeah.
It puts you in, like, this, like, and I'm gonna butcher this. I think it's like,
I knew I was gonna butcher it. That's why I was like, Urgh.
It's like alpha beta brain or something like that. Like, alpha brain is like, cool, like, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna make my bed, and I'm gonna have a successful day. And beta brain's like, 5 more minutes, like, just more of that relaxed brain. And that's what they said. Like, you pick up your phone, the blue light, and just the scrolling of, emails, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, just puts you in this beta brain. It just sets you back, and it's just like, put you in, like, it sets the pattern for your entire day.
Yeah, so give those 5 minutes to God when you're waking, making your bed, brushing your teeth. These are some of the other titles. Losing your keys, how we can invite God into even fights with our spouse, checking our emails when you're stuck in traffic, drinking tea. The last one is sleeping, Sabbath, rest, and then just some practical suggestions and things like that. So I highly recommend that book. I'm halfway through it, loving it. But yeah, I mean, invite God into your daily life. You're not too busy, and it doesn't need to be, Pastor Jesse said this on Sunday, it doesn't need to be quiet time in a prayer room that's soundproof, no children tugging on you. Like, it doesn't need to be these perfect Pinterest moments. It could be, like I said, washing the dishes, talking to Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, that's perfect. Like, you kind of already said it, but, like, I just want to reiterate, like, God is not just there in the big moments, like the prayer closet and everything. He's in the quiet ones too, the errands, the fights with your wife, the fights with your husband, the lost keys. Like, he's right there, and he's just waiting for you just to acknowledge him.
Yeah. I mean, I love that you just said that, because it's like, God is already with us, and we need to shift our mindsets from fitting him in to living with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's like a person in the room with you.
Yeah, because he is. I mean, in Romans, it says, be transformed by the renewing of our minds. We need to be in our minds shifting from God is a task, I have to do this, to I get to. Yeah. I love God. It's just like spending time with your spouse. I get to. I want to spend time with you. I miss my husband when he's working 24-hour shifts. It's like, I want you to come home. I want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
And we need to have that mindset for God.
Yeah, and the words, like, bring it back to the word, is, you know, I am the vine and you are the branches. Mm-hmm. Apart from me, you can do nothing.
Nothing. Not some things. Nothing.
Right. So if we want peace, if we want, you know, wisdom or, you know, a thriving marriage, we have to stay connected to him. We can't let ourselves conform to the patterns of this world.
Yeah, that's a good tie back. But yeah, so I mean, in summation, basically what we're saying, it's not that we're asking you to add something else to your list that you have to do. We're really just saying shift your perspective. It's not a chore. This is something that is actually going to bring you peace in the chaos. This is something that's going to give you life when you feel like it's not even worth living.
Yeah, it's absolutely life altering.
Yeah.
But, you know, let's wrap it up. You know, what are some final thoughts here?
I mean, I feel like we've been like hitting this home, but you have time for God. Yeah. The real question this weekend that you should be asking yourself is, are you going to make the time?
Yeah, that's great. You know, this week we're going to challenge you. Find at least one way to do something intentional. Spend time with God. You know, it doesn't have to be like an hour. It doesn't have to be all day. Like, start small.
Yeah, let's get 1% better. So drop down below in the comments. Let us know what's your 1% better. If you like this podcast, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to our page. And let us know, like we said in the comments, what you guys are going to be working on this weekend and moving forward.
Yeah, so thanks for listening to the Deserts and Garden podcast. Until next time, walk in love.
Live with purpose.
And trust God in every desert and garden.
See ya.